Hey guys, what's going on? Josh here from Polymathics, the YouTube channel that helps you become a modern day Renaissance man. And today, we're continuing our series on NaNoWriMo. And one of the most important things that you can do is prepare for NaNoWriMo. The more prepared you are, the better chances you have at success. So, over the course of this series, I'm going to talk about things like through lines, genre, theme, how to plot, and then also how to pants, right? And everything that goes in between. But one of the main things we need to talk about is what tools do we need in order to succeed? And right here, I've gotten a couple things that I thought have helped me in the previous years win Nano. The first thing is a little notepad. So here I have my little Avengers notepad. It cost me like maybe 99 cents at Target. You can get all kinds of different notepads. I also have, moleskin ones. The point is, the reason why you want a small one like this is so that wherever you go, and actually, before I go there, I recommend getting several of these, right? It doesn't have to be this kind, but just several small notebooks. Have one in the car, have one that you can keep with you in your pocket or your planner, have one at work. But whether you decide to stick with one or several, have something available at any time where if you have an idea, you can write it down. The way I like to use this the most is when I'm at work. Because when you're at work, you have to focus on your job, right? That's why you're there, that's what you're getting paid for. However, whether you're at lunch or on a coffee break, or maybe you're just switching between tasks, and that's when the great idea hits you. And what you don't want is to let that great idea slide. What you want to do is just go into one of these little guys and write down a note or two that's going to jog your memory so that when you're done and you can go back to writing, you can get right up into that idea and start writing about it. Because one of the biggest problems that I noticed from just writing in general, but also my time writing with NaNoWriMo, is that I would sit down and I would have a really great idea and I'd write through it, but then once I was through writing that scene or about that character or that amazing dialogue that I wanted, I would sit there for maybe an hour wondering what I was going to write next because I hadn't prepared like a little schedule for the day. Like, what you need to do is, what are the main things I want to write about? This is where plotters have a benefit over pantsers, because pantsers, once you run out of gas in terms of wherever the muse has left you, then it's up to you to figure out where the hell you're supposed to go. Whereas plotters a lot of time have already kind of looked ahead and decided where they're going to go. This, I think, is a good in-between that will allow you to, as you go through the day and you write down notes, then when you finally sit down, you can get to it and you can say, oh, these are the 3 or 4 things that I can spend at least the next hour or 2 writing on because they're really good ideas. Now, here's the bad news. Those ideas don't always come, but when they do, you gotta write them down or else they're gonna be lost. The second thing is I have my iPad with my cool Batman cover on it. But the point isn't to get an iPad or a tablet in general, but what you do want is some sort of device, whether it's some sort of electronic device, whether it's a recorder, a camera, a phone, a computer, something that can record your voice so that you can take notes and then listen back to it. And most importantly, the reason why I do suggest a smartphone or a tablet is because most of them come with dictation device applications. And when you're doing NaNoWriMo, you have to understand that the point is to get your story onto the paper. And the writing doesn't really start until after all those words are on the paper, and next month you're going back and you're rewriting and you're editing. So a lot of people are under the wrong impression that this all has to be writing or typing, and that's not the case. What you really need to do is, and not everybody is like this, but like me personally, I love to dictate my story because then I'm in real storytelling mode. And the next video after this, I'm probably going to have a whole thing about dictation. But the point is, have some sort of device where you can dictate that has an app, preferably like Dragon Naturally Speaking, that will type the words out for you, and then you're going to be able to blaze through your story and get those word counts in, because you can talk a lot faster than you type, especially when you're in like a storytelling mode. And again, I'll do a whole video about dictation, the pros and the cons, and yes, there are cons, but I highly recommend that. It's a time saver, and it will get you, your word count will go through the roof when you use those devices. The second thing I can't really show you on here, maybe I can throw a picture up. If I do, I'll put it right there, but about Google Drive, right? And it doesn't have to be Google Drive, honestly, just the cloud in general. Because what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to be able to put all of your writing into one place. And what the cloud allows you to do, and the reason why I use Google Drive, is because whether I've dictated it on my phone and then like emailed it to myself, or I've typed it out on my computer and then emailed it to myself, I can put all of those words into Google Drive. And the great thing about Google Drive is that it also gives you a word count. So at the end of the day, you can know what your word count is. And so two suggestions real quick with Google Drive. One is check your word count for the day, and then copy paste that into a separate document that you've had since the beginning, and have like a master word count document. And then what that'll be is every day you just copy paste everything you've written into that document. Doesn't even have to be in order, because remember, you're just trying to know what your word count is. And then the third thing I'm going to recommend, or maybe this is the fourth thing I'm going to recommend, is a larger notebook, right? It can be a spiral notebook, it doesn't matter what it is, but let's face it, electronics are not the most dependable objects in the world. And a lot of times they'll fail on us. Maybe the hard drive crashes, maybe the battery dies, maybe there's no outlets, maybe you forgot your power cord, maybe your phone doesn't want to cooperate. Whatever the case may be, sometimes we can't depend on our electronic devices. Also, for some of us, we can't bring our electronic devices into our work with us, or we can't have them on when we're at work. And so a workaround for this is to bring in a notebook. And the reason why I suggest a large notebook versus a small notebook is these are good for taking notes. But if you're going to start writing your story as you would if you were typing it, then you're going to want to have larger pages to really flesh it out so that you're not turning the page every 2 seconds. The other thing is, these smaller notebooks only have, like, I don't know, 25, 50 pages. So if there's only 10 lines on each one of the pages, or whatever it might be, you're going to run out very quick. So the other benefit of a spiral notebook, or a notebook in general, that people may not realize is that it lacks the distractions that a computer would, or an electronic device. So for example, if I decided that I wanted to do my story on my computer, the problem is, unless I have some sort of application that blocks my internet, there are so many distractions that are on my computer. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, email, right? Or if I'm doing it on my phone, all those same things. So the benefit of using your spiral notebook is it's just paper. There's nothing there to distract you, nothing there that you can consume. All you can do is produce and create. So sometimes the most difficult part of being a writer is finding an environment that has the least amount of distractions. And so that's why I highly recommend using spiral notebooks. And before I go any further, let me talk about a combination, a hybrid of two that I've already discussed. One of the things that I do a lot is if I go into a write-in or something, I never know if there's going to be enough power outlets or if my computer is going to go on the fritz. So I always like to bring a notebook, and even if my computer is working, a lot of times I will still just use my notebook because I find that it helps me focus more on the creating instead of being distracted by all these different things. And what I do is, say I wrote like 10 pages on that day. What I'll do is I'll go home, and the next time I have free time, I'll take my phone, which has the dictation app on it, and I'll dictate all the words that I already wrote and then email them to myself. And so that way you don't have to retype them in. It's really fast, it's really quick. And the benefit to that, if you guys haven't already gleaned, is as you're going back over your story, one, you're going through the scene, and the first time you did the scene, you didn't think about like all the possibilities. But as you're talking it out and it's being dictated, then you think of new stuff. Well, now you can dictate the new stuff with the old stuff. And so you end up with more content at the end than you would have if you had only dictated it or only written it. What are some other tools? It's always good to have a bag to tote around all your stuff into the various coffee shops that you will be going to. Let's see. That is also the benefit of the small notebooks, is that if you don't like toting around stuff, really all you need is a small notebook or a large notebook, and you can get going. They're also very cost effective for people who may not have the fiscal means to purchase things like that, like electronic devices right now. Let's see, am I missing any? I could have swore that there was some. Oh yeah, so at the end, and actually I would say, yeah, okay, so the final tool that I would say is a must is Scrivener. And it's not necessarily needed during NaNoWriMo, but especially at the end of NaNoWriMo and afterwards for your story, Scrivener is like the bomb diggity when it comes to, it's an application, it's a program, sorry, that's created for writers that helps you like really create your novel. It has a novel template, and it has sections where you can put your characters, where you can put your research, where you can create like scenes, you can post pictures and put links and drop notes, and it's how can I put this? It's the sports authority for writers when it comes to, it gives you all the necessary equipment you need to put your story together. Now the reason why I say it's beneficial for the end of NaNoWriMo is because it's going to, one, give you a word count, and two, it has a function, and God, I can't even remember the function. It's not coagulate, it's like confuscate. And what that tool does is it takes all the words that you have and it jumbles them up, and then it puts them into to a document that you can then upload to NaNoWriMo. Now the reason why you would want to confuscate your words is so that if someone ever were to like break into NaNoWriMo and try to take your script, they wouldn't be able to make anything out of it. They wouldn't be able to, decipher it because they wouldn't have the key code. Now the cool thing is, because you have the key code, you can, still read it. And because NaNoWriMo is only concerned with how many words you wrote, they don't care if it's in order or not. So when you confuscate it, it allows your document to be accepted by NaNoWriMo, but it also protects your document from would-be thieves, I guess you could say. So But moreover, the reason why Scrivener is so important is because after NaNoWriMo, when you go into the rewriting